So, don't say we don't put any hours for YouTube. It's early in the morning, so early in fact we're having breakfast out. And yeah, getting ready to start following the line up the railway walk. As you can see, some of us get through things quicker than others. And some of us apparently are American and having burgers for breakfast, which is just odd, but you know. Well, he's lovely, isn't he?
Breaking the fourth wall there.
There is no fourth wall.
Right.
No real life.
Blade thinks it's a computer game. There you go. That's something new. Right, Lydia's back with her coffee, and at least her roll's more normal than her chips.
My chips are like
Erica's got to get in the avocado in anything she can, so there you go.
It's delicious.
But they've all done it wrong because they haven't got tea.
Yeah, okay, he's Americano stealer.
Ahem.
So, yeah, iced tea doesn't count. So,
Close enough.
with that in mind, I suppose the best thing for us to do right now is to finish eating this, which you're not going to want to watch us do, and then we'll start working our way up the railway walk, and it gets far more interesting now. We get bridges and tunnels, which we didn't have before. So I'm looking forward to this section of time.
Bridges and tunnels. Yay!
So I'll see you at the beginning of the railway walk. Right, so what used to be Slabin Station is over there, and the train used to come across there and go up through here, which is where we're now about to go. As you can see, that's now the railway walk. It's a pedestrian and cycle track, as a lot of the railways, even in the UK, are now. So we'll work our way up here. First thing we're going to come to is a tunnel that was built in 1898. For the original alignment, there was two separate alignments at the beginning of this part of the track. When they built the through track down by the station, they also built a new alignment to stop the train being so troublesome to get uphill, because the original one was quite uphill and it made life a bit more of a struggle. But I'll tell you more about that as we go up. First things first is I will show you the tunnel. Right, I've actually been quite fortunate today. Gentleman who's outside has very kindly let me film inside the tunnel, which isn't normally open. It's hired out to a hire bike shop at the moment. It's about the only part of the line left, if you look, actually has both rails left in it. And they go all the way through as they used to do. I'm not sure if the rails down here, though, are the narrow gauge ones that the Germans laid down, or whether it's the original rails. They look a bit narrow for the original railway tracks. I'd imagine it's the German narrow gauge. You can see here how it's been dug out of the rock face, and then they've reinforced it with their brickwork there. You can also see where the Germans have come along and added their concrete support there. And then that's the doors that go out through the other portal. I can show you that from the other side. You can see this is where it must have been extended at some point, because you've got an original wall here that goes round and curves up. But then there's a separate portal that way, so I'm wondering whether this section here that I'm in right now was maybe built in by the Germans as some extra defence. And then you've got a narrower set of tracks here, which, if I'm not mistaken, will be linked to the fact that this is also one of the German war tunnels. Most people know about the German Underground Hospital, or Jersey War tunnels as it's called these days. They actually use this tunnel as a pre-built entrance for their tunnels as well, which was called HO5. I'm covering those tunnels in a separate video. But yeah, You can see the Germans proper concreted all this up. Must be having some issues with leaking as well now, because some of it's got like plastic sheeting on it to stop the water ingress. But that's absolutely fascinating to see that this is still as intact as it is. Right, that's it for the train tunnel. I'll show you the other portal on the other side. Hang on a moment. Right, so as we come around the side, outside of the tunnel, it's a lot more than just a train tunnel, that. Right. So if we come around here, you'll see this is curving off. This was the original alignment for the track. It's quite steep for a train, which is why in 1898 they built that tunnel when they linked the two railways up, to make it less of an incline, because it's actually flatter that way than it is this way. So this is the old alignment we're walking on now, and the new alignment was straight through the tunnel. We have there what looks like an abutment for something. Not sure what that's for, because there's no mention of a bridge here. So if anybody knows what that's for, let me know. Like I say, I do come out and make these videos to share the history of these things, railways, German tunnels, whatever it might be, with you guys. But I am by no means an expert, and I'm just as happy to learn as the next person. So, right, this is added when they put in the railway walk, but your train would have originally come from the other portal over there, and it would have gone straight through that hedge. Obviously the hedge wasn't actually there, but and if you come down here, you can see where I showed you the inside, and that bit that we were stood in before, where I thought it might be German, definitely has been added by the Germans. You can see the concrete on top above those big metal doors. What you can see this side, you can't see the other side because it's been completely covered, is the old date plate for the original portal, which is right up there. See, 1898. I'm impressed I remembered the date, and that just proves it. So there we go, I remembered something. That'll be it for the year now. Right, back out. And yeah, so that brickwork we saw in the side before, that definitely was the original portal exit, and then this concrete bit's definitely been added by the Germans, and they've proper attached that to cliff face. Look at that. Not so sure. The metal doors are original, mind you, but that's very impressive. Right, so we'll now go back out this way, and we'll finish our way back up to Greenville station, is where we're going to end this one. So I'll see you a bit further up. Right, so as we walk up here, there's not an awful lot, so I'll give you some basic information about Greenville station. It wasn't a long-lived station. It was opened in 1884 and was closed in 1899, so it wasn't very long-lived. Two reasons for the closure. One, they decided that it wasn't worth the expense of being kept open for such a low passenger footfall, And two, they also decided that the time saved from not going to Greenville station would very much help with getting to Corbière station, which had just been opened on time. So, because the time it saved not having Greenville station was happened to be the exact same amount of time it took to get to Corbière from what was the temporary train station at the time. This line was originally, well, when it was put forward for planning, was originally put down to be built because by the gentleman who owned what was at the time the Moy Quarry. What he wanted to do was build a railway line to come down here, and that should then make life easier for him, because the idea was is that he would then bring his stuff down from his quarry, all his stone, Jersey granite probably, down from the quarry down to St Albans, and then the idea was they would then be picked up by trains from the Jersey Railway, which would then take them down to the harbour. That was the original planning concept for this line. Didn't work out that way, because before the line was even finished, this guy went bankrupt, so it actually switched owners 3 times before the line was even finished. But I'll tell you more about that if you work our way up the line. Right, so we're here at the only part of the railway where it meets or comes right next to the road anyway. This area's a bit interesting because the railway changed line here, line alignment, should I say, here. So, but you see the concrete post is still there to keep you off the railway. Well, I'm wondering if this was an end at some point to something, because if you zoom in on that one there, it's different to the others. It's got an diagonal support, so I don't know what that's about. But yeah, this was, from what I've seen on maps, where the alignment came. So the train line as it was before they shut it in the 1930s went straight down here where the walkway is here for the railway walk. But the second and the second alignment, which was actually the first one, shows the railway actually coming down this way. And this bit I can't figure out. I've looked at it on maps, I've looked at it on rail maps online, and from what it shows on rail maps online and a couple of other maps I've looked at, it seemed to go, and this is what I don't understand, pardon me, so if somebody else knows, please explain. But the old alignment shows that it went partially up here, up this section here, and then came kind of down here so if I come down here I'll show you what I mean. So according to, like I say, the maps, the old alignment went along here and then curved off round that car paint shop just there, went round the back of it, and around and through here. Now I can't figure out whether that means that this road I'm walking on now was actually the track bed for the first layout, or whether it came across the top road there and then they had some sort of bridge that curved off round and connected up over there, or maybe they've just excavated the ground so much over the years it's just lower now. I can't I can't quite picture and figure out for you how this one works, but from what I can tell, it curved round through the back of the paint shop there, went straight through here, which is now a house, and connects up to the railway walk just on the other side. But that was the original alignment, and then when they redid the alignment in 1898, same time they built that tunnel we saw at the beginning of the video, that changed, and then the alignment went down what is now the railway walk over here. But I just can't figure out for the life of me how that alignment worked. I mean, like, this building here looks like it's been here a damn long time, so I can't imagine it came down here, which would mean, and this is only speculative, like I say, I'm no expert, and the maps haven't helped with this one. If anything, they've kind of added to the confusion. But yeah, so from what I can tell, what would have happened, because that doesn't seem to be a viable way of it happening, must have come from the top road up here, across the bridge just behind where the car paint shop is before the red one. I'll see if I can show you it from the other side as well, and then reconnected up to what's the railway walk slightly further up. I know they had issues with this line, mainly due to the fact that for a lot of it was uphill, which limited what they couldn't do with it anyway. But yeah, so I mean, you can see the back there of the paint shop, the red one. So it must have gone across from about here, where this hedge is, round about where the steps are now there. I don't know if you can see those steps there. Must have gone across here and then reconnected at the line over there, because it is higher over there than it is here. It's about the same height as that. So that would have required like a wooden bridge, I'd imagine, in the 1800s. Well, that's what they did or not, I don't know, because there's not even any kind of obvious signs of a bridge or an abutment or anything to give you a rough idea of how it crossed there. But that was the original alignment anyway. And then the next alignment then followed the railway walk. So I'm just going to walk back down, and once I've gone up the railway walk alignment, which was the last one, and I'm a bit further up, we'll start talking about things again up there. Right, so there, see, that's the paint shop I was talking to you about on the other side. Right, so if you go up here, you'll see that that's a relatively big shed, but I still don't quite understand how this old alignment would have been. Because you come behind it from this side and you can see there's really nothing there. And you've got someone's house, obviously. So if you have a train that's supposed to be coming from that side where the old alignment was, and it's coming over here where we are now, I mean, if you look at this driveway, it does naturally get higher. So I'm guessing just over here, where, if you can see that because of the sun, where the gentleman and the lady are walking up, you can see the grass ends there. So the only thing I can imagine is it must have come from the upper level there, so it would have been a slight incline, or quite incline, to be fair, it's a steep incline for a train, and then come across here, curving according to the map, and then reconnected kind of up here, where the, oh, is it a rock, cliff, whatever, kind of comes to an end. The only logical conclusion I can come to anyway, it must have been like a gradual curve round, and then it came along behind this cliff here. And if you see here, there's an opening at the end. And yeah, see, so it must have come back in kind of through here, because you can see how that would come through where that house was that you just saw before, and maybe came in through here. That's the only logical conclusion I can come to, and this has clearly been made quite flat. That's not a naturally flat. So, and this stone at the edge, which is another clue that I reckon they probably have had something here, and the stonage stops here. That's your last stone. So maybe that's it, I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, we'll keep working our way up here towards Greenville station, and we'll see what else we can find up here. Obviously, with it being a railway walk, there's certain bits and pieces left, but there's also quite a lot that would have been removed. So I'm not sure how much of these stations will be left. I have been to a couple of them already. Some of them I haven't been to at all. So once we get past the Don Bridge station, which would be in the video after this one, you'll find that I haven't walked up. Well, I have walked up further than there, but not for research purposes. I haven't had a chance. So I'll be learning as much as you. If you see here, this is why I say it must be down there where that old alignment is down there. That's just a valley. So it just disappears and you'd never get the train back up. This is the original tunnel they built. This tunnel was actually built for the original line. So even on the old alignment, it went through this tunnel. The road on top is the main road that goes up to Normal, if you know Jersey. Right, so this was the original tunnel, like I say. Has an Oban's hill going around and on top of it. Really is quite tall. You can tell it's a single alignment track, but yeah, you can also see some steam marks there. Look, I'll zoom in there on the top of the tunnel where the steam's gone through. You can also see where the Germans have concrete reinforced it when they've put their own line through. So, and look at the size of that support abutment. Look at it, goes right up there. Interestingly, it's still got its proper headstone as well. Look, just there in the bushes. Covered in moss. I'm sure this would have looked much grander when the railway was using it. But other side, however, hasn't fared quite so well. It's buried under somebody's rubble, because the other side of there is someone's private garden. So although it's cleaner, it's buried in rubbish. There we go. What's amazing to think is that most people go over this every day. In fact, some people even stand waiting for the bus, because it's actually just at the top there. It's a bus stop, and most people probably don't even realise they're standing on top of an old train tunnel. But right, what we'll do is we'll go through and then we'll have a look at the other side as well. Right, what I did notice as I go through is there's quite good acoustics in here. Listen to that echo. That's quite nice. But you see, it's not really even been a lot of water ingress in here, to be honest. But and there you go, you got your other side here, look, with your abutment. This one's far more supported, because look, you don't only just have the diagonal abutment, you have another one here too. So a proper supporting wall for the abutment as well. And what looks like a very old drain pipe. That's been there a long time. I mean, the tree roots are growing on top of the wall there. And there's the traffic going over the top. Right, so there's the other portal. And there's, as I say, that's the other side there, that's the final side. Looks like some rather large chunky stone there. There's that actual rock. Looks like it's been proper laid, look, because there's a layer there. But there's a wall under there as well, you can see there, supporting wall under the undergrowth. But then that's just your last abutment there, going all the way up to the top. And yeah, so that's the original train tunnel made out of granite. That's the only 2 tunnels on this route, they're both at the beginning. On this occasion we do actually have to thank Blaze for the train in the tunnel. It's the only one that's going to get these days that you saw at the beginning of the video in the introduction. But yeah, 2 smaller, slightly more annoying helpers with me today, with Blaze, and the slightly more annoying and smaller Charlotte.
Roll.
Don't Bowser their face.
And unfortunately Blade's back again too. And then of course the 2 that tried to stay off the camera over there. But right, so anyway, we should move on. Right, so we have another one of the railway fencing posts. This one clearly hasn't fared so well. There's quite a few, I think, on the way up, especially on the other side. If you look carefully you can see them in the undergrowth. I mean, most people are walking up here and they're having to chat to their mates, or they're cycling, which means they're going too quickly really to notice anything in the overgrowth. But if you look carefully and you go along as you're going along, you will find the old posts in the overgrowth just sitting there, kind of neglected, like that. Oh. See? And then the other one, its friend, just over here there by the tree. And you can kind of follow these pretty much all the way along this line. Gives you a good indication it's on the track bed as well. But I have to say, that seems quite an unpleasant drop if the train was to ever go down there. I mean, it's not the biggest drop in the world, but a big hefty train going down there. Right, so instead of just hunting for concrete pillars, although if I see any more I will show you, should probably tell you a bit more about this, because as you can see these stations are much further apart than stations that we've been doing down between St Helier and St Auban. So the train was much more reliable because it was able to go much quicker, because it was able to pick up the speed. You didn't have the little halts or anything like you had down at the other end to stop at. And this side of the railway, as I said, did have its own issues though. So as I said, the gentleman who owned it originally, or applied to build it, the same gentleman who owned the quarry, I can't remember his name, I'll pop it below for you. That gentleman there then went along and started building this railway, but before it was ever finished, he went bankrupt. Right, so the gentleman who was actually having this railway built, same gentleman who owned Lamoy Quarry, he went bankrupt before it was ever finished. So the railway was then passed on to one of the gentlemen that he owed debt to as payment for how much he owed the gentleman. So the next gentleman then took that on, and then he did actually manage to complete the railway, albeit not up to Corbière, but he did finish the railway and he got it running, and it passed across hands again for the final time to the same who bought the Jersey Railway, and then he was the one who then added the end terminus that is still Corbière, which is, I think, by the couple you've seen on the way up, the only on this section of the line is the only station building left, bar St Albans. So we shall now, we've gone through that brief history there for you. We're now in 1898, tunnel's been built, it's been realigned, which is why we're going down here. Greenville station is got about a year left, which is where we're ending up today, and then that was completely removed. It wouldn't have been that hard to remove it anyway. The Greenville station was a wooden platform, so it'd been just a case of dismantling the wood, taking it away, which wouldn't have been all that hard, to be honest. So, hello, look at this. I don't know what that is. But there's something, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, something looks specifically German. So it's all concrete down there hidden in the bushes. Wonder what that is. Anyway, so we now have over here to my right, that's Mont Nicole. We have here Mont Nicole Bridge, which, as you can see, is in some need of some work. And it was just over this side of this bridge that the station where we're finishing this video at today was. So we'll take a look at the bridge, then we'll have a look at where the station was, and that will be the end of this one, actually. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure though it probably wasn't these metal railings back then, but look at that. See, there's your lane down below that goes under your bridge, and it comes across and comes out down there. I will get you a shot of the bottom of the bridge in a moment, but being we're up here, just makes more sense to do the top half first. So like I say, I can't imagine this was the original railing for it, to be honest. I can't imagine it was even the wood, to be honest, either. I'm not sure what it was, but it definitely needs fixing. So yeah, it's looking it's been concreted as well, it's been tarmacked. So I'm not sure what's underneath. I'd imagine when we go down I'll show you the bottom bit, it's metal underneath. So right, so anyway, what I shall do is that's the bridge there as it stands. That's what's left of it. If I take you down the bottom, which I'll do now, and we'll look at the underneath of it as well. So I'll meet you down there. So now, as you can see down on Mont Nicole, there's the bridge. But something interesting before I show you the bridge is that they clearly have had issues at some point with this bridge. I'm guessing maybe in the 50s or something, when the bridge was last maintained, because you have a height restriction and a little bar which shows you that if you hit that bar hanging from the chain there, that you're too tall, you're not going to fit under the bridge, you're going to have to find another way around. But you can tell this again was part of the original build of the railway, because it's all granite. Look at it. So you've got your granite retaining wall there. There's your abutment. I'm looking at how wide that abutment is, and I'm wondering whether they'd made provision for maybe at some point it being, see, because look how wide it is. Maybe if they were making provision in case it one day they need to make it double track. Don't know. But and there's your other side there. If you go underneath, you can see it's proper ironwork under here. It's been here a long time. It's actually, look, it's embedded into the wall there. It's not bolted on, it literally disappears into the granite. So that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they never do anything with it. And again, look, this abutment on this side is massive. Look, it goes back over this way as well. I wonder why they made this side so wide. But it is massively wide compared to the other side. But yeah, and then see you've got another height restriction bar over there. But like I say, this was put in with the original railway. They don't have a specific date for when this bridge was put in, unfortunately. They do have a picture of the tunnel being built, so I'll put that in for you at the end. But it's amazing it's still here. It does need a bit of work, but otherwise, condition's pretty good. You can see it's kind of, is that concrete on top of the iron? Looks like concrete. It's just amazing. But right, so that's the bridge. We'll go back up and up to the top there, and we'll have a look at where this station used to be. Just before I do go up though, if anybody knows why there's a big massive pipe going along the side of this bridge, that would be very helpful, because I have no idea why that's there. Right, anyway, let's go back up and we'll go from there. Right, these are the little granite steps you come up to get to and from the underneath of the bridge, which is what I've just shown you. I can't help but wonder whether they were maybe built as access steps for the station, because it was only literally just across the tunnel, the bridge. So right, let's go have a look at this station anyway. So let's go over there now. Right, so where the other side of the bridge and Greenville station, very short-lived station that it was, as we've already discussed, was just down here. Now for the most part, as you can see here, there's not an awful lot of room for a station, which has led me to believe, from following maps and by just looking around the area as it is, that there was only really one place they could have put the station, and it seems to have been purposefully excavated for that reason. So which almost there now, literally it's just there. I'm just thinking, you know, I wonder how they stopped rock coming down there, because that's quite treacherous on the side of a railway. But anyway, so you can see here now it's starting to clear and flatten out, so I'm getting much wider too. So I can't help but feel that probably this, including probably its telephone pole, which is still there, is where Greenville station was. This has been definitely a station. It's definitely been made away from the railway, because you can see if you come through here how far back the concrete posts are from the actual track bed, because your concrete posts are here. Right, so as you turn around you can see, like, they'll use that one, and you've got quite a wide between there and where your track bed is here. So, and it goes off on a slight angle on this side, but it stays straight all the way down there. So I'm going to guess this is where the wooden platform would have been for Greenville station, and because it's a wooden platform there's literally nothing there. I'm going to guess the telephone pole was probably there back then, because although they wouldn't have used it for a telephone, it would have been for a telegraph. But aside from that, there is absolutely nothing of this station left. You'd never have known it was here unless you followed a map, or you were just specifically looking for the railway, because you can see now these are gradually coming back inward towards the line. And then the other thing that makes me feel that this must have been where the station was is that when you come to the end here, which this here, if you see, is the last full concrete pole, because then you have an end one here which has those funny diagonal supports on it. You have like a, I'm guessing what must have been at one point the access ramp up to the station that's been purposefully made so that you can come up here but not go down the private road through the gate here, so that the private property down below is still unapproached by people who are coming to use the train station. So I'm guessing this would have been the approach, and then your station was just literally just above you as you were coming up. But even from this side, it's not anything to tell you would have ever had a station here. I mean, if you know how a station's laid out and you're specifically looking for it, like I say, there's clues. But you can see there now how the access came just to the side there of that gate, so that you didn't come onto the private property of whoever it was who owned it back then. But right, so we'll go back up, we'll find somewhere nice, and then we'll finish off this video. But as I told you though, I did promise you it'd be much quieter doing this bit, and with the exception of the section where the road was right next to us, it's been very nice. It's very nice not have to fight car traffic noise. So right, let's find a nice place to finish off this video. Here we go. Right, so that's it for the Greenville station video. The next one we'll be going from here up to the Donbridge station, which most people know is the Elephant Park. But until then, if you could like, comment and subscribe, that would be really awesome. But otherwise, I'm off to try and figure out what to show you for the next one. I'll see you later.